Hello everyone, myself Dr. Upendra Kumar. I am Assistant Professor in Computer Science and Engineering Department, IET Lucknow. So, today I am going to discuss lecture 3 of design and analysis of algorithm, that is recurrences and sorting and order statistics. Just see, before going to discuss this lecture, we have discussed in our previous lecture that how we can solve a given recurrence, how we can analyze an given algorithm using asymptotic notations. So, throughout this lecture we will see how we can use asymptotic notations also in case of solving the recurrences and some algorithms. Now, the first question comes, what is a recurrence? So, basically recurrence is a equation or inequality that describes a function in terms of its value on a smaller input. What is recurrence is actually, if we define a function which follows a recursive procedure, that if recursive procedure is represented in the form of inequality or equation, that is known as recurrence. So, then what is the solution of recurrence? So, solution of recurrence is basically the objective is to obtain a function that is in the form of natural numbers that will satisfy the given recurrence. So, the objective of solving the recurrences is we have to find such a solution, such a function which is defined on natural numbers which basically satisfy the given recurrence. So, if we talk about recursive procedure like finding out the factorial of any natural number. So, what we do in that case, we write down a formula that factorial of n is equal to n into factorial of n minus 1. If anyhow this factorial is represented by a recursive function, so this can be written as f of n is equal to n into f of n minus 1. So, this is what the recurrence is. It can be written in the form of t of n over here, just see t of n is equal to n into t of n minus 1. So, here this recursive function f is defined in the form of a inequality or equation some smaller inputs. Just see here f of n is defined itself here with the smaller inputs n minus 1. Similarly, this f of n minus 1 will be defined in terms of its smaller inputs f of n minus 2 and so on. Just see, recurrence needs some base examples also, some base values also. It should be defined for base values also. For example, if we talk about factorial, so factorial of 0 is 1, factorial of 1 is 1. So, this can be defined as t of 0 is equal to 1, t of 1 is equal to 1. Similarly, if we talk about Fibonacci series, so Fibonacci series we have two constant terms, first and second 0 and 1. So, this just see in this recurrence t of 0 is equal to 0, t of 1 is equal to 1, and the next term is obtained by adding the two previous terms, t of means two previous terms. If we want to find out the nth term, so t of n can be obtained by adding previous two terms, that is t n minus 1 plus t n minus 2. Now, if we want to define a recurrence for the analyzing the merge sort and also the quick sort. So, for all the cases the merge sort, actually the complexity of merge sort resembles with this recurrence t of n is equal to 2 t n by 2 theta plus theta of n, and the base condition is if n is equal to 1, then its value will be theta of 1, otherwise it will satisfy this recurrence. So, why this recurrence is representing the merge sort complexity? Because in merge sort what we do, we divide a problem of size n into two equal sub problems, means n by 2 n by 2. So, here n size problem is divided into two equal sub problems n by 2 and n by 2 n by 2, and once we have solved these two sub problems we need to merge it. So, merging operation takes how much time? Theta of n times. This is how we can represent the recurrence for the merge sort. Now, the quick sort, this case actually resembles with the base case only, the base case. And if we talk about the other cases like average case, so here the recurrence will be t of n is equal to t of n by 10 plus t of 9 n by 10 plus theta of n. And if we talk about the worst case complexity for the quick sort, so recurrence will be t of n is equal to t of n minus 1 t plus t of 0 plus theta of n and so on. Now, there are some technicalities to solve these recurrences. So, normally we assume that the independent variables only assume integral values. The second is for the simplicity, if there is a floor or ceiling notations available in recurrences, so we generally ignore that. And the third is the value of T n assumed to be small constant value for the small value of n. Basically these are the assumptions while solving the recurrences. Now there are basically three methods to solve the recurrences. So obviously there are four methods: the substitution, iteration, recursion tree method and the master method. So in substitution method what we do, we basically solve such kind of recurrences. For that we can easily guess the solution. So in that case we use substitution method. So the steps are: first we guess the form of the solution, and the second is now use the mathematical induction in order to establish the upper bound or the lower bound for the given recurrences, and finally we prove that whatever the guess we have taken, that guess is actually satisfied with some constant. So basically the drawback of this method is that, so this method is generally applied on the recurrences where we can easily guess the solution. So what we do here, in mathematical induction, already we know that in mathematical induction first of all we guess the solution, and then we assume that okay, this solution is working for some value of n is equal to k. Now using that value we try to prove that, okay, by solving the by taking the expression of the recurrence, and we prove that okay, now finally this solution is also working for the value of n is equal to n. And one more thing, we take some base cases also. For example, n is equal to 0, n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2, base cases also. For that constant should be satisfied. So this is what about the mathematical induction method that will be used in substitution method over here. For example, if we take an equation T of n is equal to 2 T n by 2 plus n, and the base condition is given T of 1 is equal to 1, we have to solve this recurrence using the substitution method. Just see here, the floor notation is given, so we will ignore initially here. So our equation will be T of n is equal to 2 T n by 2 plus n. Now see, here we are guessing that our solution is T of n is equal to big O of n LGL. We know that if we omit this big O notation, so anyhow we have to put here a constant value C. So for big OH notation, by definition of big OH notation, this will follow when we have a constant like this, T of n is equal to T of n less than or equal to C n LGN. So here we have multiplied a constant C. So this condition should satisfy. So now it is taking as a equation number 2, and the previous is the equation number 1. Now we are going to apply the mathematical induction over here. So we assume that for the value of n is equal to k, this solution is true. So here we are taking the value of k n by 2. So if we take the value of k n by 2, so this will be put in equation 2. Just see in previous equation here. So we are putting n by 2 in place of n. So T of n by 2 less than C n by 2 log n by 2. So what we get here, C n by 2 log n by 2. Now we are substituting the value of T n by 2 in equation 1. So what is our equation 1? Equation 1 is this one, T of n is equal to T n by 2 plus n. So we are putting the value of T n by 2 over here. So what we get? We get here 2 C n by 2 log n by 2 plus n. Now 2 and 2 cancel, numerator and denominator cancel. So we get this expression over here. Now log A by B can be expanded, so log A minus log B. So finally what get? We get C n log n minus C n plus n. If C is taken as greater than 1, so just see this term will be always less than C n LGN. If C is taken as positive, definitely this term will be greater than this term. So what will happen if we remove these two terms? So definitely overall expression will be less than this expression. So finally what we get here? Here we get T of n is less than C n log n LGN, sorry. So just see here, by taking the value of n is equal to n by 2, we are assuming that this is correct, and we have used this expression, and we have derived that this expression also. So by using this expression we have derived this expression. This is saying that this condition is also working for the value of n is equal to n. So the first thing is actually we have proved now. Now the remaining part, that is the base case condition. So base case condition, if you take the value of n is equal to 0, so what will happen if you put in this equation n is equal to 0, so n is equal to 1, so what we get? T of 1 is equal to log of 1, that is 0. So we get is equal to less than or equal to 0, but our base condition is saying that T of 1 is equal to 1. So, it is not working for n is equal to 1. Since definition of big OH notation gives us a relaxation that we can take the base values which after n naught, means we can take a threshold value of n naught. Beyond that, if the base cases are working, then it is fine, no problem. Now, here we are taking the value of n naught 2. If we take n naught 2, so if we put n is equal to 2 and n is equal to 3, what we get here? If you putting in equation 1, so we are getting T of 2 is equal to 2 T 1 plus 2, T 1 is equal to 1, so we get 4, and if we are putting the value 3, so we are getting value of 5. Now, we have to check whether these values are matching with our exact equation or not. So, if we are taking our equation, this equation T of n C n log n. So, if we take the value of C is equal to 2, so what happens? So, now just see, if we take the value of C 2 and we put the value of n 2, so 2 into 2 log 2 is equal to log 2 base 2 is, that is 1. So, 2 into 2, that is 4. So, just see here 4 is coming, 4 is less than or equal to 4, we are getting over here. Similarly, if we put the value of n 3, so what we get 5, we are getting 5 over here. So, 2 3 log 3. So, 3 log 3 base 2 will be, actually it will be greater than 1. So, definitely will be the complete expression will be greater than 6. So, this condition is true, 5 is less than or equal to 6. So, this condition is also true. Now, see, the base condition is also working for it. So, now we can say that whatever the assumption we have taken in previous earlier, that is true for this condition. So, now this is how we can solve the problem using substitution method. Now, the second method is very easy method, the iteration method. We expand the recurrences and express it in the form of summation. Just see here, T of n is equal to 2 T n minus 1, it is given. Now, can we get the value of T of n minus 1? Yes, by putting n minus 1 in place of n, we can get the value of T n minus 1. Just see here in this expression, we have taken this as equation number 1, we have put the value of T n minus 1 over here. So, if we put n minus 1 in place of n, so we get what? 2 T n minus 2. So, here we got 2 T n minus 2. Similarly, if we put the value of T n minus 2, so we get here 2 T n minus 3. So, what do we get here? 2 square T n minus 2, 2 the raised to the power 3 T n minus 3, 2 raised to the power 4 T n minus 4, and so on. So, this expression will be expanded till we get this part 1. This part becomes 1 here. Now, how it would be become 1? So, this basically, if we take the ith term, if we take the ith term, so definitely here in place of n minus 3, n minus 4, it will have n minus I. So, if n minus I becomes 1, then we have to stop over there, because T of 1 is given over here in our equation. So, if n minus I is equal to 1, so in other sense we can write down that I is equal to n minus 1. Now, putting in place of n minus 1, 1. So, what we get here? T of 1, and in place of I, what we get here? I is equal to n minus 1. So, to the power n minus 1 T 1. Now, value of T 1 is 1. So, we get what? To the power n minus 1. So, basically this is how we can solve a recurrence using iteration method. So, we are getting here solution T of n is equal to 2 to the power n minus 1. Now, just see the third method, very important method, that is the recursion tree method. Now, what we do in recursion tree method, the recurrence is represented by a recursion tree where each node represents the cost of solving the sub problem. Basically, what we do here, we divide a problem into number of sub problems, and those sub problems are solved recursively. So, if it is represented by a recursion tree, so each node will represent a cost, that is actually the cost of solving the sub problems, recursive sub problems. So, just see here, and how we get the solution of complete recurrences. So, basically by summing out the cost incurred at each node, so that will give us the solution of final recurrence. Just see here, if we talk about this recurrence, what we do here? We divide a problem of size n into 2 equal sub problems of size n by 2, and these two sub problems of size n by 2 are solved recursively, and these sub problems need to be merged. The solution of these sub problems need to be merged. So, the merging operation takes how much time? That takes C n cost, C n time. Just here if we see in this diagram, so T of n size problem is divided into two equal subproblem T n by 2 and T n by 2. Again this T n by 2 problem will be again divided into two equal subproblems T n by 4, T n by 4 and so on till we get a subproblem of size, all the subproblems of having size 1. So, what happens? Just see here, these two problems are if solved and then the solution of these two subproblems are being merged. So, merging operation takes how much time? Cn time. Similarly, if these two subproblems are solved and they are being merged, so merging operation takes how much time? Cn by how much cost? Cn by 2 cost. Just see here, if we talk about the first level 0 level, so the total cost coming Cn. If we talk about the second level, so total cost coming how much? Cn by 2 plus Cn by 2, that is Cn. Similarly, if we talk about third level, so how much cost we are getting? Cn by 4 multiplied by 4, that is Cn. So, just see in each level of this recursion tree the total cost is coming Cn. So, merging cost is coming how much? Cn. So, if anyhow we are able to find out the total number of levels in this tree, in this recursion tree, and if it is multiplied by Cn, so we can get the complete solution, we can get the complete cost of this recursion tree. So, how can we get the total number of levels in recursion tree? So, basically in that case we know that this is a complete binary and the height of complete binary always comes log of n base 2. So, and the total number of levels will be 1 more than the height of recursion tree. So, basically here the Cn is the total cost of each level and log n plus 1 is the total number of levels. So, if we multiply by this Cn, so we get this kind of expression. So, basically this is the solution of our recurrence. If we represent it in asymptotic notation, so we can write down like this: T of n is equal to theta of n log n. Basically the higher order term is taken for the cyclomatic notations, asymptotic notations. Now, just see, this is the another example where we are dividing a problem of size n into two sub problems of size n by 3 and 2 n by 3 and merging cost is big O of n. Just see here also in every levels the total cost is Cn, and if the height is log of n by 2, log of n base 3 by 2. So, the total cost will come how much? So, here total cost per level multiplied by number of total number of levels. So, log of n base 3 by 2 plus 1. So, this is the expression, this is the solution of this particular recurrence now. Now, just see the last method, that is the master method, it is very basically a shortcut kind of method. It is an applicable to specific kind of recurrences, that is of the form T of n is equal to a T n by b plus f of n. This method is applicable for this special kind of recurrences. Now, just see, there are basically three cases. So, basically we are taking two terms, n to the power log a base b, and another one is n to the power log a base b, and another term is f of n. If f of n is less than n to the power log a base b, so in that case the solution will be what? Solution will be T of n is equal to theta of n to the power log a base b. Similarly, case second, if f of n is equal to n to the power log a base b, means both these functions should be asymptotically equal as well as polynomially equal, polynomial order equal. So, just see, case 2 occurs when f of n is equal to n to the power log a base b. So, in that case solution will be what? Solution will be T of n is equal to theta of n to the power log a base b Lgn. Now, case third, if f of n is greater than n to the power log a base b, in that case we need to check one more condition. This one more condition is a f n by b less than c of f n, where c must be what? C must be less than 1. If this constant is also satisfied, then we can write down what? T of n is equal to theta of f of n. Just see here all these two cases, case 1 and case 3, which term is larger, the solution comes in the form of that term over here. Just see here, n to the power log a base b is larger, so the solution is coming in that form. Here f of n is larger, so solution is coming in that form, while the equal case we are adding one more term here, that is Lgn. So, just see, this can be understood better way by using some example. Now, this is an example, T n is equal to a T n by b plus f n. So, we can apply over here master method. A is 9, B is 3 and f of n is what? N. Now, and if we compute n to the power log a base b, so what it comes? N to the power log 9 base 3. So, n it comes n square. Just see here f of n is n and n to the power log a base b is coming n square. So, definitely this term is asymptotically as well as polynomially larger than this term. So, the complexity will come, this is the case first of master method. So, the complexity comes in the form of this higher term n square. So, T of n is equal to theta of n square. Now, if we take the second example here a is equal to 1, b is equal to 3 by 2, f of n is equal to 1. So, n to the power log a base b will come what? Log a means log of 1 is 0. So, n to the power 0, that is 1. So, this term is coming 1 and f of n is also 1. So, both these terms are equal. So, in that case this is the basically second case of master method. So, the solution will come in the form of n to the power log a base b Lgn. So, here n to the power log a base b nothing but 1. So, 1 into Lgn or log n. So, solution will be theta of log n. Now, the third example here, if we take n to the power log a base b, so n to the power log 3 base 4, that is coming around 0.793, n to the power 0.793. And what is the value of f of n? F of n is n to the power log n, sorry, n log n. So, basically here the polynomial order is n to the power 1 and here the polynomial order is n to the power 0.793. So, if we take the polynomial order, so this f of n term is higher than this term. So, solution will come in the form of this n log n, provided that the another condition is also satisfied. What is the another condition? A into f of n by b must be less than C f n. So, f n by b, f n is n log n. So, if we put here, so basically what we get here 3 n by 4 log of n by 4. If we put n by 4 in this equation, so n by 4 log n by 4. If we take the value of C 3 by 4, C must be less than 1, just remember C must be less than 1. If we put less than 3 by C is equal to 3 by 4. So, what we get here 3 n by 4 log n by 4 is less than or equal to C n log n. Just see here. So, if we put C is equal to 3 by 4, so definitely this term will be always less than this term. So, condition satisfied over here. So, solution will be what? Solution will come in the form of this f of n. So, f n is nothing but n log n. So, theta of n log n. Now, for the last example, actually here we cannot apply master method, because if we compute n to the power log a base b, so what we get here? We get here n only, and if we see the f of n, it is basically n log n. Just see here, although asymptotically f of n is greater than this term, but what happens if we see the polynomial order? So, in polynomial order both are same, here n raised to the power 1, here also n to the power 1. So, polynomial order both are same, but if we see the asymptotically order, so this term is larger than this term. So, here we cannot apply master method, because both the sense it should be same. Now the we are going to discuss about the order statistics and sorting. So, sorting already we know that the arrange the numbers either in increasing order or decreasing order. So, we have given a set of n sequences a1, a2, a3, an. So, we need to reorder it, we need to sort it in such a way that the sequence comes a1 dash, a2 dash, a3 dash, and the constant is that a1 dash must be less than or equal to a2 dash, must be less than or equal to a3 dash, must be less than or equal to dot 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 an dash. So, basically this is what the sorting, there are numerous algorithms available to sort the given numbers. For example, bubble sort, quick sort, merge sort, heap sort, there are so numerous examples, algorithms are given, which would be discussed later on our lecture 4 and 5 and so on. So, here we are mainly going to discuss about the order statistics. So, what is order statistics? Basically, if we talk about in a given set of numbers, if we talk about the ith smallest element, so definitely we are talking about the ith order statistics. Means if we have a given set of n numbers, we just want to find out the ith order statistics, it means we just want to find out the ith smallest element present in that array. So, how can we do that actually? Basically, if we have a given set of n numbers, so initially we have to arrange those numbers in increasing order, we have to sort it using some sorting algorithms. once the elements are already sorted, it is very easy to find out the ith smallest element. If suppose the elements are already in sorted order, increasing order, if you want to find out the fifth smallest element, so we pick up the fifth index of that array, that will actually give us the fifth smallest element, or in other sense we can say that will give us the fifth order statistics. Now just see here, the minimum of the set of elements is the first order. Obviously, if I is equal to 1, it means it is first order statistics, that is the minimum value. If I is equal to n, that is the largest value, means the nth order statistics. Similarly, median can also be obtained by taking the n by 2th term or n plus 1 by 2th term, depending on the even and odd numbers. So, if we want to select the ith smallest element, so this would become a problem. So, how we can solve this kind of selection problem, where we want to select the ith smallest element or the ith order statistics. So, just see here, though if we use a sorting algorithms which takes big O of n log n time, like merge sort, quick sort, or heap sort also. So, these selections means finding out the minimum, finding out the maximum, finding out the ith order statistics, finding out the median. So, all these operations would take how much time? It would take linear time, that is big O of 1. So, total time, if we talk about the total time taken in order to find out these terms. So, basically sorting takes how much time? Big O of n log n, because the best sorting algorithms takes takes lowest cost, that is big O of n log n. So, total time it would take big O of n log n. So, now can we reduce this time complexity? So, can this one can be reduced from n log n to O n also. So, can we basically this complexity can be reduced? Yes, we can reduce by using randomized partition method, basically which is being used in quick sort. So, what we do in quick sort, basically partition quick sort. So, we take a pivot element and we have an array A and we have a starting index P and ending index R. So, we basically split this array into two sub arrays in such a way that all the elements of the first sub array is less than the pivot element, and all the elements of the right sub array is greater than the pivot element. So, basically Q is the dividing point which is dividing this array into two sub arrays. Why we are talking about the randomized partition? Because randomized partition the complexity always comes big O of n, means in linear term it comes, that is why we are using here the randomized partition over here. Now, just see, if you want to find out the ith smallest element, if it is actually if it is less than the q means here we are calculating the k is equal to this much. If it is less than q, so it will somehow lie in left sub array. So, here we have passed I over here, otherwise it will lie somewhere in right sub array. So, here we have passed the I minus kth value over here. So, this is how we can find out the ith smallest element in case of randomized partition methods. So, definitely these are some examples. So, we can take here, and now just see if we consider all these three cases. So, the complexity comes for the simple partition, it is coming worst for the worst case, but if you are using the randomized partition, though the complexity comes always big O of n. So, thank you very much. This is all about the sorting and order statistics and the recurrence, solving the recurrences. Thank you.